Danni and input cruising through the airwaves. Transformers knowledge blast that never caves. Reviews so sharp they'll cut through steel. In the podcast world, they're the real deal. Jumping in the deep end, swimming with the best. Danni's got the info and she never needs to rest. Input's got the passion like a roaring jet. Together they make a mark you won't forget. Dynamic duo, never gonna quit. Taking over airwaves, super lit. Transformers podcast bringing the heat. Every single episode can't be beat.
Hey, welcome back to the State of the Transformers fandom. Today we're talking about G1'ers and the fandom, and here's your input.
Wow, what a transition. Let's see if I can salvage this, right? That's right, baby. You just heard it from her mouth, from her lips to your ears. You just heard Danni Double D, and if you see her, then that must mean I am the N-PUT, baby. And if you've been keeping track, this is episode 5. So what I want you to do is sit down, shut up, and open your ears, Jack, and just listen wherever you are, whenever you are. And Danni is totally right. Tonight we're going to be talking about the G1'er problem with the Transformers fandom and everything that comes with it, baby. We are deep diving. We are reaching down to the bottom of the barrel. We are scooping up the ooze, and we are going to let it. I don't know how to finish that, but it sounded pretty good up to that point, right? So, hey, everyone, welcome in.
Excellent energy tonight, boy.
Yeah, appreciate it. So tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about the G1'er problem. And why is it a problem? Well, because it just kind of, pollutes everything. And that's where the problem kind of lies within itself, right? We're also going to be probably touching on the like Danni said in the title. If you guys read the title, the gatekeeping that G1 houses within its ironclad fist for the Transformers fandom, right? So not really, pushing all of, all egos aside, right? Like all primally driven egos aside, right? Just cast all that out. But why is the G1'er problem such a problem? Because, for quite frankly, it's been going on way too long, right? We've seen Hasbro really in times of turmoil for the brand, if you will, either do one of two things, and it's been more so lean heavily on G1, more so than just kind of give up on it. So, yeah, I don't really know kind of how to feed into that, except for by saying, because of that, we've got G1'ers running the ship now, and they don't want to make anything but G1, and they don't want to see anything but G1, and that has put us into I guess maybe a second Neo G1 era, right? The first one being, all those like e-hobby recolors or whatever, right?
The fan hub, and then the encore reissues, and
right.
The thing too is like G1, it's like it's good. It's like in the point of like it started there, but I think it definitely has made stuff stale over time, and it's nice that the area is getting some more light to some other things now, but yeah. And like you said, it's just the people that like strictly I love G1. You can't beat G1. I mean, I can't. The show is terrible. Like besides a few good episodes in all those seasons, in the beginning episodes, but like I can't slog through that stuff. I'd rather like have my knees beaten in with a bat, and like I like the Five Faces of Darkness and stuff. And I love the G1 movie, but over that, I'm just like, yeah, some of it's just a slog.
Yeah. And G1 movie is like peak Transformers, not G1. peak pinnacle Transformers,
that
right?
tone is perfect.
Yeah, and I think any Transformer fan can sit down and watch it. Doesn't matter what era you are a fan of, right? Whether it be, Armada or RID or anything, you can sit down because those characters' names are used throughout continuities, right? Like different continuities and stuff. So you can sit down, you get the idea, like, okay, Megatron's the leader of the Decepticons. That's a bad guy. Optimus Prime, whatever. But like I said, that movie is peak transformative. So, but now the problem that you really get is when you have G1'ers running the ship over there at Hasbro, making all the toys, basically all the toy decisions. You have this like G1 kind of thing that hopefully we're kind of exiting out of finally, right? Everything that from really Titan's return forward or up, right, has been like hyper Neo G1, so much so where they've taken existing like G1 concepts of toys and just put them into modern day form, right? Essentially the same transformation, just with added articulation for the most part, right? A lot of these characters have that kind of like G1 transformation scheme. And they're not showing, and this, I'm getting to it. Bear with me. I got to build it up so everyone understands where I'm coming from. I don't want anybody to think like I'm attacking a specific.
Attacking G1 because I love G1 because G1. My favorite thing about G1 is the animation style and all the jokes.
Danny coming in with Old Yeller. Right,
Old Yeller from the cellar, but I love G1. You better not be hating on G1 because I'll have some words for you in a moment. But I'll hear you out first. Don't hate on my G1. I love G1. It's all G1, G1.
That is a good interpretation of a G1'er right now. Right now. Okay, look, I'm just gonna say this, Old Yeller. G1 is more like G Lost. Get over it, okay? Battle's over.
It's G1. I love the colors. Okay, I'll hear you out.
So basically, Old Yeller here made me lose my train of thought. I'm sorry if you guys are watching this.
How much you love G1?
G2 will always be better than G1. Deal with it.
Take that rainbow. Can I say that? No, I'll hold back. Hold on.
Look, okay, what I'm saying here is not to attack anybody. I know there's probably going to be some people with some butthurt feelings and whatever. But just so you guys know, I'm not here to attack anybody. All I'm saying is that because G1'ers are running the ship here, everything else is not getting the love that it deserves. Okay, let's be 100% honest with ourselves. The G1 cartoon was good for what it was, but it was a child's cartoon. It still is a children's cartoon to this day that is very, very outdated, and very much, doesn't really hold up to scrutiny very well, right? The other thing is too, is like so much of the later Transformers lore is suffering right now under all of Hasbro's main designers and everything, right? Like they'll sprinkle in like an Armada thing here and there because this line or this wave needs a new Megatron. Well, let's do a Megatron. Well, what do we have laying around? Well, we can do Beast Wars Megatron, or we can do Armada Megatron, or whatever. But we have to have that Megatron. We have to have a Starscream. So that's why you see like Cybertron or Armada, or maybe even some RID kind of sprinkled in. But for the most part, it's all G1. And that's really kind of, again, where the problem is, because it's not creating any kind of new ideas. It's not creating any kind of environment that makes these people think outside the box. Armada doesn't have their mini-cons, and I know this is a hill that so many people are either giving up on, dying on, or abandoning it altogether. But at the end of the day, if you can give the G1 characters their target masters, 2 target masters in some of their cases. There's no excuse whatsoever that you can't give these guys their mini cons. And I know Jolt came with, the powered up version of Hot Rod. That was a Hasbro exclusive, but Jolt isn't worth $10 again because it's the same transformation scheme. And because of these guys, the same transformation scheme of the original Armada Jolt. So there's no engineering going into any of this stuff, really. I mean, so at the end of the day, these people basically, G1 needs to kind of step aside and let something else kind of that has that nostalgic kind of hold for people kind of come into the forefront and kind of take over maybe for an entire wave or an entire line, right? Let's say Legacy, whatever, Age of the Primes, we're starting to see the, still G1 adjacent, with the 13 primes and stuff. But maybe this is the start of it. Maybe this will be the start of it, right?
Yeah, I feel that. Like I said, like they might still sprinkle a character or two here, or they could just do a separate line. But they should do a fresh new line of. It'd be cool to see like all new characters, a whole new story. Maybe say character names if you want, but a whole like to keep the trademarks, blah blah blah. But it'd be nice to see just some more freshness to the brand. And if they could shrink all those cheap, crappy toy lines down, like the really junky kid stuff that you wouldn't even give to a dog. What did you just say? But yeah, it's just like, maybe you can, put the money into making it, take a risk. I mean, they took a risk when they made Beast Wars. I don't consider Beast Wars G1. I hate animals, except I don't hate myself. But yeah,
Well, and the thing is, Beast Wars is G1. Like it's a continuation of G1 because,
there's G1 in it. Yeah, for sure.
Right. But they totally took a chance on that. They've taken a chance every single time. And this is the thing, Hasbro goes out there, they'll do their little press conference, and the Transformers team will, say whatever they say, to use whatever toy buzzword, whatever it is, right? Look no further than the new Spider-Man, Marvel Legends Spider-Man for $50 because of its new tooling, and then everyone, will regurgitate that as if it's a legitimate argument, right? So they go out there, they do their little press conferences and their tours and their toy fairs and whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And they go out there and they say it's like, oh, well, it's XYZ reason or whatever. But I totally agree. You take those child made for children toys, you scrap them all together, right? And you just do something completely new, completely different, because it's been done in the past. Every single line has been a complete scrap over of whatever else that came before it, right? Like when they did Prime, they stopped selling animated toys. Why would you sell animated and Prime in the same time, right? And the other problem is they restarted the Generations toy line with Siege. They said this is going to be a new scale, right? Everything's going to be properly scaled, and they were fucking full of shit on that one, because again, Hasbro's design team, right? So everything is up for grabs again. And what do? It's G1. It's Hyper Neo G1 stuff, and it was cool in the beginning.
Yeah, it was.
But when you're it's Generations. It's supposed to be a love letter to everything over the course of Transformers history, right?
Yeah.
So when you become hyperly focused on G1, that's where the problem lies. And like I said, it lies within the ship, the captain of the ship, and in this case, Hasbro's design team, because we all know they're hyper G1'ers, right?
Yeah.
The other problem is that they have all of these, internet influencers that will scream to the heavens, that will, piss, moan, and groan, and just run their mouths till the end of days about how, whatever it is, they just cry if they don't get their G1, right?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, the Bayverse, the movie Bayverse movie line, the studio series line, God forbid they get all of their Dinobots before, Studio 86 got all of theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that would have, all the G1'ers, would have been, oh no, we didn't get Swoop yet. Well, you know what, dude, neither did the Bayformers, and they've only got Grimlock, so calm down, right?
Oracle called. She wanted Grimlock right away.
Oracle wants like a 37th Grimlock, yeah, right?
She needs another Grimlock. G1 style, please. But yeah, I agree, and I feel like you said, like, it's just like, and what's his name's in the chat, something I was gonna touch on, but now I kind of forgot. But yeah, just like, yeah, like, oh yeah, the things about them just making them more look G1, like, we're getting Prime, we're getting this, but then putting in a G1 style, and it's like, I understand that to a point, but it's like, dude, if it's Generations, you're supposed to be homaging this, and you make a crappier toy than the toy that came out, and it's not even in the same style, it's just weird,
Yeah, no, Daniel corrected me. I apparently said Powerlink's Hot Rod instead of Hot Shot. Thank you for that correction.
Thank you.
Yeah. I will say I do get the names mixed up on those two because I used to not to, but when I found out that Hot Shot was an homage to Hot Rod, and that all kind of made sense to me after watching like Armada and stuff. It was like, oh, it is, that the attitude of them and stuff. I totally get that connection. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks to M3. Shout out for got a new got my sister had a kid, nephew, so new one in the family, new family member. So thank you so much. Jonah is here.
Sick, man.
But yeah, no, everyone, thank you for being in the chat tonight. I know we didn't say much, but yeah, loving the comments. Thanks for everyone for being here as usual.
And then you start getting like the influencer problem, right?
Yeah.
Where they prop up the idea of whatever Hasbro says or whatnot, and then like it's basically one of those things where it's like this kind of goes back to our honest reviewer episode, right? And I wholeheartedly mean this. If you find a reviewer that you feel is honest, stick with them, like 100%. That's the best thing that you could do, because as long as they're not shilling for the company, right? And they're not, and I say this all day long. Me and Gotbot, there are figures that we completely disagree on, 100% disagree on, and I'd still put him on the upper echelon of honest reviewers, right? You're not going to always agree with a reviewer, but the review is supposed to give you information to make that informed decision to purchase that product, right? But you get all these, these corporate shills that make a mountain out of a molehill just because, probably a really poor example here, but like, we had to wait till wave 3 for Inferno, but he's in season 2. He should have been in the second season. And then it's like this whole giant thing. And it's just so messy because of all that. And then there's that that also bleeds into like that G1 gatekeeping type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where say somebody out there makes a video about something wrong with the fandom that they notice, or something wrong with what Hasbro might be doing, and then all these people just start coming in and dogpiling on the guy, right? About how he's wrong.
Dogpile, man.
So then they just come in and they dogpile, and the thing is like if you have any kind of following whatsoever, right? Those people are going to go at least look at these other people, right?
Yeah.
And if they see you jumping on the dude, like, or the person or whatever, then that kind of leads them to believe like that person's in the right or whatever, right? Or like the person doing the dogpiling or starting the dogpile is the one in the right. So they, so their fans are, I hate the word fans, like in culmination with YouTubers and stuff. Fucking disgusting to me. But
I only have fans.
Oh, and for $9.99 a month, you can too.
Try $3.99, this cheap hoe.
For $2.99, so
$2.99, are you out of your mind? But yeah, and the other thing though is like this guy saying Blue Raccoon, like people respect people's opinions. I find a lot of the pure 1G1 people, they don't respect other people, and they put Armada people way down. They put RID people way down. And not everyone, of course, but it's just so intense. Like, oh, it came first, it paved the way. It's like, sure, it did, but a lot of things come first, and better things come out of it, or new things come out of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't quite follow your sentiment there, Blue Raccoon. Can you elaborate? Yeah, like and that's kind of one of the issues. That's kind of one of the problems, right? Is like there's not. I see more respect coming from the fans of like non-G1 Transformer fans, if that makes sense, right? Towards the rest of the fandom than I do like mainstay, like diehard G1'ers towards the rest of the fandom. Does that make sense? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always arguments back and forth. Beast Wars is better, you guys. It's the best. It's saved Transformers, And then like the Bayverse kids, same thing. It's saved Transformers. Respect Michael Bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's always this argument that falls back at like almost like ego driven of it started here. Without us, there wouldn't be Transformers at all for you to enjoy or whatever. And it's like
we die, clone baby. But yeah, no, I know. I feel that sentiment so much, and it irritating grind. I find it's like, yeah, it came first, but so did Ninja Turtles. And like, I wouldn't say a lot of people like love the first comic that much or even know about it at this point, sadly.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of it's kind of what I was getting to. And it's like, but if it wasn't for Beast Wars, right? The original G1 cartoon would be in the same vein as like Jason the Wheeled Warriors, right? It would be a cartoon that was remembered, that in some people's point of view would be really badass, really cool, but it wouldn't be like anywhere near what it is today. Like it would just be done, right?
Yeah.
And I would even go so far to say that even if Michael Bay, if they did make a live action movie, that's where it would be. That's where it would have picked up steam and kept going today, right? So either Beast Wars, you could say Beast Wars saved it. Without Beast Wars, G1 would just be a footnote in cartoon television history, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all it is. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people in the fandom, before you go poking the fandom, so to speak, right? Maybe some like, forethought into all of that should be considered, right? It's like, yeah, it started with you and it died with you too, right? Like,
yeah.
You didn't buy the Action Masters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ultra Megatronus, if it wasn't for, we wouldn't have Japan, we wouldn't have it in the first place. That's very true. If it wasn't for Japan, Star Convoy and all of that, we wouldn't be, as far as toys goes, wouldn't be here today with the toys and stuff too, So
if we didn't have Japan, we wouldn't have that good and sweet hente. What's up, Martin? Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no, I know. It's yeah, without it, we're lucky to have it, and of course, America did stuff to it too, and gave them names and set it all up. But without the toys where it started from, there would be none of it. With the Diaclone and the Micro Change and the other toy lines they borrowed from,
Right. I mean, let's not forget, was it Diacron when Takara brought it over here without the Transformers brand? And that lasted. I mean, that was pre-Transformers, and that lasted like all of like 3 weeks. So it's like a couple of figures, and that was it, right? So, get that. They're like, get that shit back over here. It didn't sell. Get it back over here. Land of the Rising Sun. Come on, man. But Danny, have you noticed anything? What's up? What's going on?
Diaclone. Yeah, I feel the same. Like, I just hate like the I guess pretentiousness of it or whatever, if that's a word, but you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just people nose in the air G1, and it gets played out, it gets boring and desaturated, like I said, and like, it's like, okay, these people are gonna be like, I'm 38 now, so it's like, the people I really grew up with G1 are getting up there, and you need to expand. I mean, how much nostalgia will last for that? I mean, it's obviously some of the main line and all that will, but there'll always be primes and this and that, but it's just it'd be nice just to expand it more. And yeah, like I said, I always feel people come down so hard, and like, I am a G1 fan. Like, I love the G1 toys. It's just like this show, like, besides a few episodes, like, you couldn't pay me to watch that. So,
yeah, and that's kind of it's kind of the deal, right? Like I said, step aside and let the Armada guys who grew up with Armada have more than what's out for modern day Armada in that Neo G1 or Neo generation style, right? Like, what's out there on it, right? You've got Starscream, Prime, Megatron, Hotshot. That's it, right? You don't have you don't have any of the Decepticons except for Megatron and Starscream, right? With Cyclonus, there's no Blur, right? None of the mainstay characters. You haven't done new modern day human figures for the for the kids and stuff in Armada. Shout out to Gotbot. Kicker's the greatest Transformers character ever. But yeah, you don't have any of that stuff. So I do think it's time for G1 to step aside. Like, you've had your moment in the sun. This goes for, anybody out there, just let it step aside. It will always be there. And let
go
ahead.
No, just said to let it sprinkle. Like, they still could put a couple figures out because they'll always need a couple still. But like, I don't want a whole bunch more Chazzes and Sunstreakers, and like I said, unless the mold is like totally changed. But if we're going to redo everything all over again, like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Ion says Armada Wheeljack. I knew I was forgetting one. I appreciate it.
And there's some, and they got. I know on someone else they just released some more stuff too, saying that there's stuff they actually haven't, like, that wasn't leaked, that's going to be different from G1. So that's cool.
Yeah, Red Alert is coming from Plasticon. That's true. Yeah. Let me ask chat, since with all the Armada stuff, and we did get a what is it, Cybertron Starscream? What came out, like, was last wave with Vector Prime? I think it was Cybertron Starscream that came out, wasn't it? Or is Energon Starscream?
Energon, yeah.
It was Energon Starscream. Man, I spaced on what I was gonna say right there. Yeah, anything, like, do you guys think that, like, this is going to be that, like, they've done G1, they've done Beast Wars, and I do include Beast Wars in that G1 statement. So they've done like a Neo G1. Are they going to move more towards like a Neo Armada Energon phase? And if so, are you guys gonna start grabbing this stuff? If you guys were out because of all the Neo G1 stuff, is this like Neo Armada stuff? Is this gonna bring you back in? Demolisher needs more love. I agree, 100%, 100% agree with that. But collecting with Cool, what's up? I'm gonna say hi to everybody in chat I haven't said hi to. Galva Wave, how's it going? Rico Red Star, what's going on? Iacon says Hasbro needs to stop giving us all the Japanese character as HasLab fodder. 100% agree with that. If Galaxy Shuttle made it to retail, and it's hard to argue a more obscure Japanese character than Galaxy Shuttle, right? And he made it to retail. So Malsha had 3 Armada Energon Revenge of the Fallen. Yep. Yeah, and you know what? I'll say this too. G2 needs to make a comeback, okay? Because G2 was the greatest Transformers anything. So, what's up, JD and Snell, man?
Yeah, G2 is great. Yeah, like I said, the stuff we got is okay, but I'm glad they got to do more of the actual G1 and the unproduced G1. Like I still buy it because it's something different and new, and you've heard about some of it, but I would way rather see more. Yeah, like they didn't even recolor the old Devastator in the G2 colors, which I just think is a weird miss, but.
Yeah, so rumor on that is that the Combiner Wars one was going to be for Comic-Con. That Comic-Con one that came out that was all metallic purple and stuff. That was supposed to be G2 colored. And the Metroplex that came out for Comic-Con was supposed to be a Metro Titan recolor. But Hasbro made the argument that nobody would know who those characters are or why Devastator was yellow. So they just went with the lazy opt-out with what they ended up doing, right? They made toy accurate colored Metroplex and vac metal Devastator. So
yeah, see, that's a thing they could have not as a funded thing, but just as Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Like, yeah, the yellow Devastator for the fans that really want it can buy it, that know what the hell it is, right? Like that's what I don't mind for like an online purchase. But
yeah. Hey, Jason. P. Jones, G2 Minosaur was cool. Didn't DX9 never finished their G2 Minosaur. Right? Unfortunately. I guess my biggest gripe, I guess, is like maybe lack of a better term here. Excuse my ignorance on it. If you guys know a better way to phrase it or a better term or word or whatever, help me out here. But it just feels like there's just like this, like an ego centered around G1, right?
Yeah.
That people just kind of like, there's like so much chest beating over and everything. And then let me ask you guys this too. There is a saying, if you show Hasbro, like I see people say it quite a bit, if you show Hasbro that you want it, then buy it. Like with Armada Megatron that came out in Legacy, right? People bought it. You end up getting, that was another one. Got Galvatron recolor out of that, right? But like, so buy it. Like, if you're a fan of the show, buy it. You're a fan of the series, buy it. No matter what, show Hasbro that you want more of that stuff. But when Hasbro's doing cost-cutting measures on the Transformers that you love, does that drive you into not wanting it? And because, Megatron doesn't have Leader 1, right? So how many people are affected or pushed into not buying it because it's essentially an incomplete item? You're not getting the full experience from these figures or from these characters that you get from the G1 counterparts, right? Like every Target Master comes with their Target Master, right? Or in the case of Quake, he came with both of his. So there's no excuse that Leader 1 didn't come with Megatron. There's no excuse that Jolt didn't come with Hotshot. There's no excuse that Spike doesn't come with Prime, right? There's or swindle with Starscream, right? There's no excuse for any of that stuff whatsoever. Could have 100% did it. So I'm asking, let me reiterate my question. How many people skipped out on that stuff because it essentially was an incomplete experience? And how damaging is that? So people say, just buy it. And yeah, but it's not all there. It's not shown the same love that G1 is being shown by the lead design team. That's where the problem comes in. If you don't care about something, how can you expect me to care about something, right? So you can have the soapbox back now, Danny.
Huh? What? Yeah, no. I'm just reading the comments. It's just I liked when someone said they're Generation X and they're sick of G1. That's amazing. Yeah. Because they're. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It's hard to say, but like the G1 fans, like, yeah, it's just too much. It's too much pressure. It's like too much. If you don't like G1 or you don't understand, like, you don't understand that everything came from this. How many arguments I see just over G1 stuff is amazing online. It's like everything's an argument.
Yeah. Like Galvo Wave says, I think a lot of the defensiveness. I wanted to read this out loud because it's a pretty good point for anybody who's listening and not watching. Galvo Wave says, I think a lot of it is defensiveness too when it comes to G1 because there are many new fans who say, quote unquote, I only like IDW, or this is that which inspires pushback from older fans. Same thing happens with Pokemon, Sonic, and any fandom that comes with a divided by a generation. And that's kind of the part that kind of blows my mind, right? Like there should be, like, I love Sonic the Hedgehog, right? I really, truly do. But I've got a buddy of mine. He's like this Sonic knowledge god, right? He could, the Archie comics, he can sit there and tell you what page, what panel out of what issue happened, and if Tails was colored the right way. Like, it's ridiculous, right? But me and him share in the love of Sonic the Hedgehog, right? I love the classic Sega Genesis games, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, the DS games. But like I said, he loves all of it. And we're able to kind of share in that, the love of Sonic the Hedgehog together. And we're on different levels of fandom with it, right? It's so crazy to me that there's so much division when it comes to all this stuff, because I would think that all this stuff would want to be celebrated by the fans because it's still continuing. It's still going. There are so many people that when I talk about like Mighty Max, the 90s cartoon that I grew up on, if I'm talking about cartoons and I bring up Mighty Max, somebody else knows it. They always, oh man, Mighty Max, that's awesome. What's your favorite episode? And this, that, and there's like this, like kindred spirit, so to speak, in that conversation, right? And then it kind of leads into the toys and how, like Polly Pocket was for your sister, but Mighty Max was for the dudes, and Mighty Max was better, And then there were talks of bringing the cartoon back. Didn't get much further than talks, but people were excited for that. So, like I said, it's so weird that it's weird to me that generations divide fandoms like that, right? Like, it's all gonna be there. It's all still there, right? Like, if you love G1, go love it, I
love G1. And Danny used to play with Polly Pocket when she was a kid. Look how she turned out. I told you to get those Mighty Max. No, you want to play with that flower crap. G1. G1 is the best because G1 is the best. Has the best animation style, has the best everything, the best characters, the best development. If you don't like G1, you can go screw yourself because it's all about G1. I want more G1 on the shelf. I only want to, and I don't want to see any of that Armada garbage, that RID or anything else. It's all about G1, okay?
Let's see. I saw something somewhere. Plasticon Toys says, how many times can they do a G1 Optimus Prime? I will say this. We will start. I don't want to count. Okay. I'm going to dub it right now. Optimus Prime, Studio Series 86, Optimus Prime. The entire fandom agrees for the most part. Like, that is the quintessential Optimus Prime, G1 Optimus Prime figure, right? So everything going forward, right, is Optimus Prime AD. Okay? Everything before was Optimus Prime BC. Let's see how many G1 Optimus Primes they do now with that mold out there. Or let's see how many times they just reissue that mold without a trailer, with some Battle Masters, or, you know, different, like darker red, or he's got, you know, his shorts are black instead of white, or whatever. Let's see if they stick with that mold for how long, or if they swap it out for something better, right? Let's see. Yeah, just going through chat right now, guys. If you guys, I just want to say this: honest reviewers, man. I want this to be a thing. Leave them in the chat. Leave them in the description, or not description. Everything in the description is like Danny's job, right? But in the comment section, leave it all down there. Honest reviewers, man. Let's get them out there, right? Let's get these shills out of here. Okay, let's get and get the honest reviewers popped up, prepped up, right? Propped up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like everyone to put their favorite G1 character in the comments. Tell me who's your favorite G1 character. I need to know.
Blue Raccoon says generations as chugs, and everyone can respect another era, because if G1 kids grew up to have kids and introduce them to G1, it's good, and they see more Transformers. See, P. Jones says, I'm a G1 fan, but Transformers Prime and Animated were the best series, hands down. Oh, dude, Animated was fantastic, man. Absolutely. That came out at a fantastic time for cartoons. You had Spectacular Spider-Man on at that time.
Yeah, the Teen Titans guy drew that or whatever.
Yeah, Wolverine and the X-Men. Like, you had some really good cartoons. That was a renaissance for cartoons. Like 90s was a good era, and then like that 2010s era was a renaissance for that. That was fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and I used to hate Animated. Now I'm getting all the toys. Not the show necessarily, but, you know, when I saw it on the shelf, I was freaked out. I was like, that's different. That's not good. But now looking back, it was like, I wish I bought everything. For me, I am old school in that way. I liked it. I have that G1 thought, like, you know, when I see something, I'm like, oh, it's too different. But, I mean, it's good to open your mind.
Right? Plasticon Studio says, need to get rid of Prime versus Prime. Guy is killing everything off with his theft and dishonesty. I don't know if you know, but there is a petition on change.org over on Transformers Talk Raw. His channel, I'm sure if you go through like his channel, his Facebook, there's a petition up on change.org. If you want, yeah, it's a petition to get PvP's YouTube channel taken down. So go check that out, man.
Yeah, send me the stolen toys, please, player. I need some G1.
Plasticon says Thu is fantastic. So is Imgo, and I like TJ Omega too, and Vangelis. Vangelis is fantastic. TJ Omega, he's on it. He was on my honest reviewer list. Yeah, definitely was.
Yeah.
But Danny, I think our viewers this week have had enough of us rambling, more so me rambling and standing on a soapbox. But
Yeah, that's what you're good at. You make my job so easy, darling. But you know, I have. It's just like I said. I can see how I'm part of the problem at times too, because like I like G1 a lot, like the toys, and you know, sometimes like I said, it's hard for me to accept something different, or it's like it wasn't like that before, or like it can't be this way. But it always takes me time, you know, to get into it. Now I love anime. You know, got an animated shelf over there. You know. It's just, but I just wish, like you said, everyone should get along more. I wish and celebrate the franchise as a whole, because yeah, things are dwindling, prices are going up, toys are getting cheaper and crappier. There's less on the shelf, so you know we got to like stick together, buy what you like, and yeah, hopefully like you know things will change over time, or they'll just get worse. I don't know. I'm addicted to the plastic crack as always.
Yeah. I think. Let me ask you this before we get out of here. Because Transformers Animated was really, really hyped when it was out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was super hyped. Do you feel like now this just might be you personally, and that's what I'm asking. For you personally, does hype kill things for you? Where you're just like, I'll check it out later.
Oh yeah, no, it does. I had something's hyped up. I'm like, that's garbage. That sucks. Even like I said, I saw the toys. Like you couldn't convince me if you beat my knees in with a baseball bat that I would enjoy those toys. Like looking back at it, like I thought my opinion would never change. Like anything that's overhyped, I'm not into. And like I didn't like that art style, that Teen Titans art style at first. Like now I appreciate it more. It was fresh. It was actually kind of like a flat animation style that I like, but I didn't see it like that. I thought it was too abstract. I thought it was too crazy, too out there, you know. And you know me, I don't, you know, it's hard for me to see something change like that. You know, but I accept it more over time. But yeah, no, it's hard for me to like something that's hyped up to the max, you know.
Yeah. And Oracle says in chat, hype is why Input and I haven't seen Repo the Genetic Opera. Yeah, we have friends that like hype that to oblivion. I was like, well, okay, I basically know what this movie's about. I'm out. Rico Red Star says, how long until Voyager class is the same size as Deluxe class used to be? We've already kind of seen that, right?
It already happened. It already happened, bro.
Yeah. But few people haven't seen it yet. I was gonna say like Hot Rod 86 Hot Rod is kind of in that vein, right? Like he was labeled a Voyager. They charged $35 for a Hot Rod, but they didn't paint his back wheels. Okay, yeah, like let that sink in here.
I wish it was 35 here. It was 55 in Canada.
Ooh. All right. Well, on that bombshell, right?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for joining me as usual. And yeah, this wasn't to upset anyone. Like it's just where these things are just we're just having like an off the cuff, just expressing ourselves about the fandom. And yeah, we're just here to have a blast. Thank you for everyone in his chat. It was a huge turnout. There's still 18 people in here. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for making my job easier. Input, and just remember, G1's the best. G1, get your G1 all day. G1 is the best. I love you, Input.
I love you too, puppy dog puppet.
Hey, all I can be is your dog, homie.
Are you a pound puppy?
Oh, I like the pounds. I mean,
oh no. Oh, okay, guys. Just saying thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Transformers fan. What is the name of this show?
The state of the Transformers fandom, player.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the greatest Transformers podcast that is out there. Unless you're talking about Transformers Talk Raw, he's kind of cool too. He's got a cool show too. He's got a good show too. The very best Transformers podcast that is parallel with the other best. You guys know what I'm saying. Thank you for joining us on this episode. And next week, our topic. What's our topic next week, Danny? Honest commentators, I guess, for the community. I hate community. I hate that word. Fandom.
Sure. Yeah, we'll work on it. Sure.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Tune in next week.
We'll see you guys next week. Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. G1, baby. G1.
thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure. However, we must now conclude the program. We appreciate your viewership and apologize should we have inadvertently disrupted your evening. Please do not take any offense. We look forward to presenting another engaging topic next week, and we extend our gratitude for your continued support.